Hey, this is Albany with the Soulful Marriage Conversations podcast. I'm so excited to be with here on episode number 8. We're talking about today 3 things that you should do when you have discovered that your partner is being untruthful. Now, before we get into the topic, I just want to say to you guys, thank you so much for listening to my podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you for sharing this episode and the podcast with any person, woman that is a spiritual, introverted, entrepreneurial woman, or just any woman that you know that this particular episode may actually help her. It may support her. It may help her get a better understanding of what she should do. Maybe you know someone that's in a situation where they're finding out that their partner has been untruthful. Now, when we're talking about being untruthful, I'm not just talking about, so let's just be clear, I'm not just talking about having an affair. I'm talking about if you find out that your partner has told a lie, told a little white lie, or he's been hiding something from you for whatever reason. This is a way just for you as the wife to get to move past it and not allow yourself to lose self-control, or even to find yourself stuck, because sometimes when we find out that our partners are not being as clear and honest as they should be in the relationship, sometimes those little white lies can create major mishaps, and sometimes they can even cause separation. So this is something that I want you to really think about before you take action, before you do anything when you're experiencing untruthfulness in your marriage, because it always helps to just be in observance of your own. I'm going to say it like this. You need to be aware of your own personal behavior in a situation, because sometimes things do happen and they are something that you need to really examine and really take into consideration of what's the next step. Because I do believe that as women, men only think they know what we want, but we as women know what we need. They may think that it's better that I don't share this information with my spouse, because if I do share with her, she's going to get upset and she's not going to know how to handle it. Or they may think, well, it's better that she doesn't know because she would never forgive me. But we need to show up in our relationships as a forgiving woman, because we know that we're not perfect and they're not perfect either. However, we still need to hold our partners accountable for the mistakes they made, because the key to this situation is that if you don't ever want to continue into a relationship where your partner continues to be untruthful, continues to tell lies, then you have to allow him the space to know that this behavior is unacceptable to you. So that's the reason why it is so important for us as women to stand up for what we believe in that is right, to hold our partners accountable for the things that they do, and to let them know how we truly feel. And when we let them know how we truly feel, the only thing that we need to let them know is exactly how we feel. We don't need to give them all of the emotional crap that really takes us down that windfall or that rabbit hole that gets us all tangled up and stuck. What we really need to do is just be honest with ourselves and our partners and just tell them the truth. This hurts me, and this makes me not trust you, and this makes me XYZ, whatever. Just be honest. And when we can learn to be honest and truthful and hold that space, not only for them but for ourselves, we can be more empowered to stand up for what is right instead of getting stuck in our own emotions. Because sometimes our emotions will hold us back. Our emotions will get us all caught up, and sometimes we can't just be honest with ourselves and just say, this is what this is. I have to own this, that my partner is a liar, or my partner is deceitful, or my partner has betrayed me. Now, what's the next step for me? When we get into our emotions, sometimes we say, oh my God, I can't believe he done this to me. And sometimes we forget about what's the real issue here. Our issue is not our feelings. Our issue is the fact that we have problems with truthfulness in our marriages. So let's live from that place and grow from that space so that we can become empowered and we can really reach our spouses the right way so that they can really see the trueness of who we are, not how we get caught up in our emotions and we get into this rabbit hole that keeps us stuck. So let's move on into the topic. The 3 things that you should do when that you have discovered that your partner is being untruthful. The first thing is that you should always be clear that you have valid information that you are going to accuse him of doing. If the information has not been confirmed, if it's not valid, then you need to hold that information until you can confirm that it is valid. Don't be as quick to determine his guilt until you can confirm that he is guilty. And what does valid information look like? Valid information is information that you've seen with your own eyes, that you have understood the data, and the data adds up to be correct. Like if you see a bank statement that shows that he went and purchased an item for $500, you better check the dates. Check the dates. Check the receipts. Find the receipts. Because you need to know that he actually spent that money. If that's an issue that you find out, maybe you and your partner has had issues with finances and you've been asking him, well, you've noticed that there's been some charges to your account if you all have a joint account, and that you agreed that you would make any expensive purchases over $500 or more without discussing it with one another. Well, make sure that is his charge. Make sure that you've seen confirmation, dates, and information of when these purchases have been purchased, because there could have been a purchase made, true enough, but was it for him? Was it a purchase that he made and it was someone, maybe his partner or someone, that said, hey, can you go purchase this and I'll give you the funds back? Let's just be clear on what it is that is really transpiring. That's all I'm saying is about be clear, confirm that the information is valid. The second thing I would say is do not get ahead of your emotions. Do not allow yourself emotionally get attached to situations where you cannot allow yourself space to even have a decent conversation with your partner about the issue. If you allow yourself to get so caught up in the emotions before you allow yourself to have that conversation with your partner, you don't give him the space to tell you the truth or give you the opportunity to explain himself and to give him that opportunity to be accountable for that situation. Sometimes our partners can judge us incorrectly and withhold information because they feel like we're not able to adjust ourselves adequately. We need to be able to hold ourselves accountable in taking responsibility of allowing them the space to give us an explanation for what it is that they're doing. When we can hold dignity within ourselves, and we cannot falsely judge and falsely accuse until you have truly confirmed, and not allowing ourselves to get emotionally attached to the information just because we see something or we've heard something or we acknowledge something. We still need to allow ourselves that time and that space to allow him to be accountable for that. And once he has given you an explanation and he has allowed you to hear he has allowed himself to give you an explanation and hold himself accountable, then ask him what is his role, what is his responsibility in this situation to fix what he's done. How is he going to fix it? Not you deciding how you're going to make him fix it, but giving him the space to own it and to discover for himself what he needs to do to fix the situation and hold himself accountable. I can be accountable for something by saying, hey, I did that. I can own that. But accountability is meaning that what's my next step into not allowing myself to do that again or to hurt you again. That's something that you need to give him room. And if we're so caught in our emotions and we're so quick to judge and to, I would say, to, be angry with them, we're not allowing them the space to be accountable or to take responsibility for their actions. And finally, moving from that place to the third action that you should do is that you should detach yourself from that situation and move quickly and be quickly able to forgive. Now, I know you may say, okay, now we need to move quickly from that place, detach myself from this situation. Yes, it's because it's for you. When you can forgive, it's for you to have that peace, for you to have that freedom, and for you to allow yourself to move forward and not stay stuck. But when you do detach yourself from it, it gives you that peace of mind. It gives you that space to whether you can choose for yourself whether this is something that you can truly forgive your partner for, or is it something that you really need to look inside and think, is this something deeper than this? Depending on the situation, of course. Is this something deeper that I need to reconsider some things? Is it a financial issue with trust? Do I really need to reconsider how we have our finances set up? Do you trust your partner with money? Do you trust yourself with money? Is it a situation where you think that your partner just is not a trustworthy individual? So now you got to look at his credibility, his integrity. Is it something that you need to talk about your values? Go back and revisit your values. Can your partner be trusted? Is he someone that I feel like I can really truly trust? Or is this a recurring situation? And is it something that you may need to consider counseling with this situation because it's a recurring event? You find your partner in continuous lies, a rapture of lies. It does not depend. It doesn't matter if they are little white lies or big lies. A lie is a lie. And we should hold our partners accountable for being untruthful in the marriage. Because if we cannot be 100% truthful in our marriages with our partners, then we have a relationship that's not trusted, period. We should be able to be accountable to one another. We should be able to withhold ourselves from nothing. We should not have to withhold ourselves from anything from our partners because we have a relationship that we trust and we value, and we should uphold that to the most honor and respect toward one another. And when we don't have that, there is a problem. There is a truly deeply rooted problem that we need to really find out. Is this a situation that I need counseling? Is this a situation that I actually need to take into consideration and bring this to my partner's attention, because it's going to be a long-term problem in my relationship. I'm going to share this with you before I end this episode. I had a dear friend. She was from another country, and she was here way back in my college days when I might have been 19 at the time. We might have been in our early 20s. However, we was in our early 20s. We were in college, and she was telling me about a guy that she was in a relationship with and that she was ending the relationship. And I asked her the question about why is she ending the relationship? And she said to me, because he told me a lie. He lied to me. And I said, what did he lie to you about? And she said, he lied to me about some activity that he was going to be doing with friends, and he actually told her a lie and said that he was doing something else versus the truth about what he was really doing was spending some time with some friends, going to some event, or they were planning something together with his friends. And I thought to myself at the time, And this is what maturity is about, you all. Because when we're young, if we haven't been taught these things when we are young, we'll fall into the trap to think it's okay when they tell us little white lies. But it starts at the beginning from the dating scene. And this is what she told me. He lied to me about what he was going to be doing with his friends. He told me that he was going to be doing something else, and instead he did something else. And it wasn't a situation where, plans change and he ended up doing something else. It was a fact that he actually knew that this is something that he was going to do, and he did not tell her the truth about it. And she said, I'm ending the relationship because he told me a lie. And if he could not be honest enough with me to tell me the truth, then what else is he going to lie to me about? And another thing that she shared with me, she said, my father taught me as a young girl that when I began to start dating, she said that if you're she said that her father told her that if you're in a relationship with someone and they tell you a lie, don't accept it. Because if that's something that you value and which you should value in your relationship is honesty, truthfulness. If you allow him to lie to you one time, then he will be acceptable to thinking that it is okay to lie to you again. And if you go into a relationship where you accept lies, then that is the way your relationship will continuously flow if you do not do something about it. So that's the reason why I'm saying to you women today is that we need to look at our relationships. If there's a history of untruthfulness, then we need to stand up and speak up about the untruthful behavior that our partners have and really examine ourselves and our partners and look at the values, look at our standards and ask ourselves, is this something that we need to put a stop to now? Or is this something that we really need to acknowledge and say, hey, we can't go this route? Because if we don't stand for something, we'll fall for anything. And I'm sorry to say this, that sometimes we can be in relationships where there has been an ongoing issue of untruthfulness, and there is a time and a place for everything. But that is when there's a time when we have to put our foot down and say, no more. No more lies. No more untruthfulness. If this marriage is going to be a strong, solid marriage, we have to be honest with one another. So there again, you ask your partner, do we need counseling? Or then you might have to ask yourself, is this something that I'm willing to accept for the rest of the term of my marriage? Or is this too big for me to not accept anymore? Maybe it's time for you to re-examine your relationship and find out what it is that you truly need. Because if you're accepting the behavior and it's not what you truly need in your life, want in your life, and willing to accept in your life, then you have to be your own solution for change. And sometimes you have to show and tell your partner that this is unacceptable and this behavior I would not accept. And you are the only individual that can come up to the solution for that problem for yourself. So I just want to thank you all for listening to Soulful Marriage Conversations with Albany Riggins. I hope you join me on the next episode. I would love for you to share this episode with a friend if you have not shared this episode with a friend. If you have not subscribed to this episode, please do so as soon as possible. Subscribe and rate. Please be sure to give us a rating for the show. I need to hear your feedback. I need to understand how you feel, and also give me a comment on what kind of information you would like to hear in the following episodes. So you have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day. If there's any of you out there that's listening and you would love to have a conversation for me to hold space for you, please feel free to schedule an appointment at bit.ly/reclaim your marriage. And I would be more than happy to have a conversation and we can come to a conclusion of what's the next steps for you in your relationship to build, save, and restore your marriage. I'll see you on the next episode. You have a wonderful day, you all.